Yeah, so we're back from the Arnold Sports Festival. A lot of powerlifting, a lot of different meets going on there. So Joanne Aita came in. She's going to be representing Team USA as a Masters 1 competitor at the IPF Worlds in Calgary coming up this June. And very happy with Joe's performance. A bit of a rough ending to the training cycle. She's dealing with a little bit of hip problems, and then her and Max also traveled to Europe to do some seminars. Obviously not ideal international travel in the last week or two before, or last 2 weeks before a big competition. But Joanne's a really tough competitor and she managed that well. She made a 5 kilo lifetime PR in the bench press and also a 5 kilo PR in the deadlift for a 10 kilo PR total. So happy with that for Joe. She's got more there on the bench. I was pretty surprised the 85 miss, but maybe just kind of let the moment get to her a little bit, and the setup wasn't perfect. And the deadlift, there definitely looks to be more there. So looking for some big weights there in Calgary for Joe.
Not a very good snapper. I'm Joanne. I'm a 63 kilo powerlifter, and I just competed at the A7 Raw Challenge at the Arnold. First time lifting as a powerlifter. I've competed here a number of years ago, 3 times I believe as a weightlifter. It was a lot of fun. It was very early in the morning for me, especially coming from the West Coast, so I don't feel like I was awake enough to really absorb all of the cheering from the audience, and I kind of wished I had been able to, tap into that more. Finally, by my deadlifts, I felt like I could really appreciate the atmosphere and the big crowd. I was happy with my second bench press attempt. It was a 5 kilo competition PR, 82.5 kilos. And that was broke the Masters 1B American record, which I held for a day until Jennifer Thompson competed today and destroyed my records. But I was happy to break them, and I still have that. And really wanted to make 85, would have been a lifetime PR bench, and just didn't quite set up correctly to make that. So a little disappointed in that. Made all 3 of my deadlifts, which I was happy to make, and made a lifetime PR deadlift of 172.5 on my third, and was actually really easy, so that gives me a lot of confidence going into the next competition.
Walker Bradshaw competed on Friday night in the Raw Challenge, and because of some school, Walker's getting his master's right now. He had to actually leave New York on Thursday afternoon and drove to Columbus, about a 10-hour drive. So actually got into Ohio, got to bed about 2:30 in the morning, and then would compete that evening at 5 p.m. So certainly not ideal, particularly when you add a weight cut on top of that. So he had to battle and cut about 1.5 kilos the last day, and due to some different sauna issues, he ended up in trash bags, kind of jogging up and down the stairs. So certainly not an ideal weight cut strategy, but made weight. And he's just a kind of an easygoing guy who didn't really let any of that phase him. So had a solid meet all around. For not having touched over 350 pounds on the bench for maybe more than 3 or 4 times during this training cycle because of some shoulder issues. He put it together well when it counted and made a 402 bench press. So next couple, 8 weeks or so for Walker is going to be about getting healthy and then working towards putting together a big total at nationals.
Hi guys, I'm Walker Bradshaw, USAPL 105 for Team Juggernaut. I'm from Long Island, New York, and I train out of Outlift Athletics. Yeah, last minute weigh-ins, made weight with like an hour, maybe 45 minutes to go till competition time. So definitely was trying to sweat it out and spit to make weight, and probably definitely the closest I've ever been to missing, but didn't want to start today. So after searching Columbus and discovering there's no saunas, we put trash bags on and just climbed the stairs of our Airbnb. It worked pretty well. Kristen Dunsmore can tell you it's effective weight loss, and came in at 105.3 when I first stepped on the scale at the meet. Like 30 minutes later, I think it was 105.1, and then kind of just did the last little bit to make weight at 104.9. But overall, pretty good meet day considering. Went 8 for 8, passed my third deadlift. 628 in the squat, 402 in the bench, and 711 in the deadlift. So pretty good day. 728 was what I hit in training and felt exactly the same. Deadlift was a little, I think the water cut kind of caught up to me there with not being able to rehydrate. Bench felt pretty good, been really beat up on that. That's been one of the challenges for training. So the bench over 4 and only really be training in like the 200-pound range, definitely something I was happy about.
Kristen Dunsmore was competing in the Pro American. Kristen also had a pretty tough weight cut, waking up about half a kilo over her weight, waking up about an hour before it was time to weigh in. So she had an 8 a.m. weigh-in, and yeah, about 6:45 in the morning, I was already at the venue with Marissa and get a text from Chris that she's still 0.5 over. So Joanne was very helpful in helping Kristen get that last bit of weight off, but it was a tough weight cut for her and probably affected her some. You know, the squat was tough. You know, probably 177.5 would have been a better call than 180, but in such a tight field, you know, sometimes you got to make aggressive calls and go for it, especially at a meet that's not qualifying for anything. It's just there to try and lift the biggest numbers possible. So we went for it there, and maybe, you know, I guess not the right call in hindsight, but Kristen did a great job of staying mentally engaged in the meet, and it's tough if you miss a lift in the squat or you don't perform early in the meet quite the way that you were hoping. It's easy to kind of let yourself just give up on the day, and I've even had that happen in my own competing. And Kristen, you know, stayed tough throughout the day, stayed mentally engaged, ended up actually missing her second deadlift at 200 kilos on a downward motion call, which was definitely the right call, a pretty clear downward motion, but we increased up to 205 for her third attempt. She came back, nailed that for a deadlift PR and a 2.5 kilo total PR. So, you know, always happy to walk away with a total PR, and I know Kristen is happy to now be moving up to the 72 kilo class and not have to deal with the water loading and water cutting anymore as a 63.
My name is Kristen Dunsmore. I competed today as a 63 kilo lifter for the Arnold's Pro American. So I competed today as a 63. I don't know how much longer I will be doing that. When I woke up this morning, I was half a kilo over. So I was literally running up and down the stairs in trash bags, and that was not fun. I was miserable, and I definitely don't recommend doing that if you don't have to. So we were staying in an Airbnb at the moment, and I tried to take a hot water bath, but we couldn't get the water hot enough. So deadlifts, I mean, I guess I still hit a PR, surprisingly. My second attempt I missed. It was like a weird misgroove. As soon as I pulled it up, I knew I felt the bar get away from me, and then I did an up and down motion, and I knew as soon as that happened, I was I locked it out. They gave me the down command, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't get this, and I got 3 reds, so I was pretty upset about that. But luckily, I knew that I had it. I knew that it wasn't a strength issue. It was just a technique error. So we ended up going up 5 kilos. Anyway, I was definitely nervous, but I ended up pulling 451 pounds, which would be an all-time PR, which also got me a all-time total PR and Wilks PR, despite not it going how I wanted to.
Marissa was competing at the Grand Prix last year at the Grand Prix. She broke the total world record. She went 9 for 9, had the best meet that she's ever had, pretty much the best meet that she could have, and it was a great day. And we're hoping to replicate that. Very, very challenging field when you're competing against Jen Thompson and Jen Milliken, as well as Isabella von Weisenberg. We knew we were going to have to make aggressive calls. She had a great training cycle, so I think frustrating for both of us in the squat for her to miss that 152, which she had made twice in training, but it'll be there at Worlds. Crushed the bench press, 97.5 kilo bench for Marissa, new American record 2 kilos over her existing American record, 5 kilos more than she did at this meet last year. That 92.5 last year was then a PR. So just phenomenal improvement in the bench press. You know, for a 114 pound, a 52 kilo woman who's already at world levels, to put 5 kilos on her bench in a year is really remarkable, and it looks like there's more there. Even on that 97.5, the bar got out of its ideal groove, and she was able to come back and save that. And that tells me that if she can keep it right through the path that we're looking for, she's got a lot more in her right now. So very happy with that. The deadlift, we took an attempt at the world record, 190.5 kilos on our third attempt. That also would have moved her into first place by Wilkes, which is how the Grand Prix is determined. So even though 187.5 would have been the better call, it wouldn't have given her a shot to win. So we had to go for the 190.5 because, you know, we're there to win. We're not there to play for second. So she took a good shot at that. Not there on the day, but 427.5 kilo total. You know, the second highest total ever in the IPF at that in the 52 kilo class. So not too shabby for a 7 for 9 day, and a new American record in the bench.
Hi, I'm Marisa Inda, and I competed in the SBD Grand Prix on the Rogue stage as a 52 kilo lifter. Well, my most favorite part is watching Chad's face get captured on my lifts. I felt like this training block was really, really good. My squats were feeling great, bench was great. Deadlift, I made some deadlift PRs, but there were times where it felt a little bit off in training, like I couldn't get really great positioning. So I didn't feel as confident in the deadlift as I normally do, but overall it was a really good training block. So for this meet, it's a Wilkes meet, so it's basically just goes by Wilkes for the winner, for the money. So we just decided to take a really aggressive approach so that we could just go for the win. Since this isn't like a world championship or anything, we're at the Arnold, might as well just, you know, put it all on the table and see where you end up. So missed my third squat attempt. Well, my second felt a little rough. Chad asked if I wanted to do 330 instead of 336, and I'm like, no, hit 336 twice in training, I'm gonna do it, and then didn't do it, so.
Give her a big round of applause. Great.
But got all 3 of my bench attempts, even though my third went off a little bit, but was still able to recover that.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is a new American record.
So going into the deadlift, first went up great. Of course, it was pretty light. Second was a little bit rough, but Chad said, you know, hey, we have to, you know, pull 190.5 for the win, well, potential win, but it just would not move. It came like 2 inches off the floor.
Give her a round of applause.
So proud of all the lifters. They worked hard, trained hard, competed hard. So just looking forward to even bigger weights.